This top story that we are looking at, it's about Zomato. Zomato is trending on social media platforms today. This is happening as the CEO of Zomato, Deepinder Goyal, announced a new job opening at the company, a chief of staff. Now, this job opening has garnered more than 18,000 applications according to information that has been put out by Zomato. Sounds exciting, but look, there's a catch. The selected candidate will not draw any salary in the first year. Actually, he or she will be shelling out 20 lakh rupees towards the NPO, which is Feeding India. So is this idea of delayed gratification a new reality for quick commerce now? That's the big question we're asking. And to answer that, let's turn to Jaideep Dilip. He's COO and Head of Employability Business at TeamLease. Also, we're joined by Dilip Cherian, Image Guru. Great to have you, gentlemen. Great to have you on the show in this discussion. Do tell me, from your perspective, however you look at the matter, Mr. Cherian, you can't deny that this is an unconventional job posting. No salary for the first year, instead a fee of 20 lakh rupees to be paid by a candidate. At its worst, would you say this is a mere publicity stunt?
Looking at it very carefully from the image that it conveys of the company and of the founder. I think from the company's point of view, there is a danger that you might be signaling a kind of structure of payment which is inappropriate for a listed corporation. From the founder's point of view, he clearly wanted the attention that this would draw. The other point to take into account is that here is a founder who's very quickly trying to segue out of just being a founder of a food delivery app to doing a whole bunch of other things. And he wanted to draw attention to that aspect of himself. And perhaps from the company's point of view, maybe it makes sense for them to try and allow the founder to get into a new space. But I would say it could be, and I wrote a piece on this in LinkedIn last night as soon as I saw the ad. I think that it could be seppuku by the founder, or it could be very clever blade work by the company, but either way, risky strategy.
You did use the word inappropriate. Would you agree, Mr. Keval Ramani? This posting says that a candidate should expect 10x more learning than a 2-year degree from a top management school, because the candidate gets to work with Deepinder Goyal and, in their words, some of the smartest folks in consumer tech. Who do you think this job posting is talking to? What kind of job aspirant? And do you really think this is inappropriate?
Vikram, first of all, thank you for having me. Bold, yes. Inappropriate, I don't know. I think we need to look at it from a few lenses over here. If you look at what happened in the last few weeks, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk,
yes,
they made a similar offer to aspirants who wanted to be a part of their Department of Government Efficiency to
yes,
work for free and have fun in the process and trim down everything, do good to the nation.
Yeah.
And more importantly, they asked all the candidates to apply through a premium membership of X, which
yes,
comes at a cost of about $8, $10 or something. But there's a revenue mechanism over it. The second, it's a little bit historic, but very relevant. In 1776, a very popular study was taken by Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations, which is the foundation for today's economics. There is a very specific mention of apprentices. And there are trades and crafts for which families and students used to pay the master to learn the trade and craft, which is different from the modern world apprenticeship where corporates pay them. What Zomato is trying to do is a few things. One is extract commitment, because for such a high profile job, when someone comes in, you need a little bit of stability. So you've got someone coming in with a commitment, cut a check. There is also a reciprocal arrangement. Also, after year one, the regular compensation and all of this start. So there's a great learning opportunity for anyone who's interested with a high degree of commitment. I think it's very innovative, unorthodox, yes, but inappropriate, I'm not too sure, Vikram.
You think there is possibly a learning curve that some candidates would be interested in? Perhaps that would explain the number, at least what the company is putting out, 18,000 applications. And of course, a rejoinder has come saying that 20 lakh rupees And this has come from Zomato not too long ago, and they're saying that this was only to be able to sift through who's really interested. Perhaps it's a response to the backlash, we don't know. But like Mr. Keval Ramani is pointing out, Mr. Chairman, it's happening on the heels of that posting by Elon Musk for the Department of Government Efficiency, which says we need super high-Q small government revolutionaries willing to work 80 plus hours per week on unglamorous cost cutting. And there, applicants need to verify, like Mr. Keval Ramani pointed out, they have to verify their X account so that they have to spend $8 a month. So this Musk posting for a government job has a corporate entity, which is Musk's own, making gains. Is exploitation writ large over here? Is it getting blatant? Do you see Mr. Goyal's posting reflective of that?
Vikram, I think that the exploitative part of the Musk and and Ramaswamy postings is really trivial. That is not important. What is interesting is that Deepinder Goyal's offer has already spawned a copycat refrain in India's startup system. And there's some other CEO who's offered to actually pay his chief of staff and have them come on. But the real issue is something else. The real issue is that I'm delighted that there are 18,000 people in India who are willing to pay 20 lakhs as a deposit to get a job. It shows perhaps that there is enthusiasm to look at non-conventional MBAs. And I think if they can write essays enough to impress Deepinder Goyal, I would be very delighted to know that we have so many people who are able to do this spontaneously in such a short time. But I still think that it is a little tricky to navigate this, because what happens if the chief of staff wants out? Does he get or does she get her deposit back? What do they gain in the process? Do they get a reference? Do they get the kind of publicity that will come? Will we hear some heartwarming stories in the future? When I thought about this last night, when I saw this, these were the thoughts that struck me, that for a company which is on the verge of one diversifying, and perhaps this is also a reflection of Goyal, Zomato, and several other companies recognizing that they have, simultaneously to everything else they're doing, a rather big problem to do with cancelled orders. So this whole do-gooder thing, which is implied in much of what is in the ad, including the fact that the company will put into the foundation a sum of money which is twice that they
Yes.
get that the person.
Yes, they have said 50 lakhs, yes.
Yeah, is a form of what I would call publicity-seeking do-gooding.
Right.
And, I would
and that you
rather
say
go
can go
back.
either ways. It is
That's right.
a risky one that you're doing. But even as we look at our job scenario, Mr. Keval Ramani, IIT, IIM graduates, many of them not getting the kind of campus placements they used to at the kind of salaries they used to. Is this a way of attracting our top talent now? Is this kind of supply now helping our corporates, especially the startup ecosystem right now? Isn't that a sad state of affairs then, if that is the case?
No, Vikram, I don't think we should see this one job post as a trend changer. I think what Zomato is trying to do is a little experimentative, see what's happening with these kind of high-profile positions. I mean, chief of staff is a very serious position. It can influence a lot of things within the organization. It's not a run-of-the-mill position. But talking to your point about IITs and IIMs, things are certainly changing. In one of the previous such conversations, we spoke about that just having academic output is not sufficient. You need real world work experience. And there are certainly things that are changing. So this is not a passing shower, it's a climate change. And one needs to relook at the way academics and industry are coming together. But what's happening at Zomato is something a little different than tying it up to what freshers are facing in the market. So I don't think we should link the two.
But then why does he want inexperienced people, Mr. Keval Ramani? This is quite clear in that job posting, and it is a criteria. If it's such a high-profile job, then why ask people who don't have experience to apply?
Well, I wouldn't know the exact details of asking freshers to apply for this.
Yes, there
But
are.
maybe there's a
Yeah. And there is no guarantee also that you'll get the job after a year. How do you even feed the mouth that you have to for that 1 year, even if you do manage to put together 20 lakh rupees for the job, because that was the initial posting? Even internships pay. You get paid through a probation period as well. And here the employee is paying the employer to work for him. Mr. Keval Ramani.
Yeah, this is something that baffled me. I mean, for a fresher to land a chief of staff for an organization like Zomato seemed a little this thing, but probably there's a thought that freshers could be groomed into the Zomato culture. But to expect a fresher to cough up 20 lakhs, this job is definitely then only calling towards the elite India and not to the rest of the India and Bharat. So there's a little bit of a dichotomy over there. But let's see, I'm sure there is more clarity to emerge as they go through these 18,000 and probably 25,000 applications as they count up while we are speaking here.
Is this about really talking to an elite India? Because this would make it a very classist kind of job offering as well, because you're leaving out the lower income groups. Is that also something that played in your mind when you saw this offering?
Well, it was a factor of putting money to charity. And I'm sure a little bit of more thought should have been applied,
Yes.
and a little bit of more sensitivity.
Yes.
But I guess, as they say, version 2 is always better than version 1. So I'm sure there is feedback flowing, and they should
Yes.
put out some clarification.
But Mr. Cherry, and do weigh in on this, because we live in an age of instant gratification. You see the heights that Bitcoin has gone up to suddenly. You see amazing rises in fortunes in the way the equity markets move. At a time when we're getting so aspirational and aiming for the skies, doesn't a job of this nature take you back to the 60s when you would do anything for work that would quite frankly border on bonded labor?
I think that, this is a little bit different because I think the intent to get publicity is really dominant, and there's no escape from that. The way it's worded, the way it was crafted, everything was meant to do two things. One, create controversy, and two, get eyeballs. That it has achieved. Now, if you ask me, the problem with job offers of this kind, or job thing of this kind, is that what Mr. Keval Ramani talked about of the Gilded Age, when people wanted to join these apprenticeships and were willing to pay for it, that's long gone. And the real question is, as you said, is it in a sense exclusivity? Are you trying to cherry pick from among those who have 20 lakhs to deposit with you? And it's not a sum of money that you can borrow as part of your educational loan.
Right.
So I think it's not.
But he's come out and said that doesn't stand anymore. Perhaps he was responding to the backlash, but he's put it out there that this was only a sifting kind of way to find out how interested a candidate is.
You can have 100 excuses after the event. Meaning it's like 2020 vision. So I think that we've sailed past that.
Right.
And what is now left is this distasteful feel
Yes.
that this is not the best way to get talent
Yes.
of the kind you want.
Right.
You have every right as a CEO to get a talented chief of staff. It's a great idea to have someone who has absolutely no work experience, because they come with a completely open mind. But being chief of staff involves, as you said,
Yes.
the unacceptable levels of numbers of working hours, which already Narayan Murthy is getting pilloried for,
Yes.
and which Trump, Musk, and Ramaswamy are all seeming to love. So I think that we are talking of a new kind of twist in the workspace, in the environment. And as I said, it is risky for a company to do this.
Yes.
It is great for a founder
Yes.
or an individual to do this. that's fine.
Yes, indeed. And we'll have to wait and watch whether, like Mr. Keval Ramani is pointing out, that this is going to be a one-off. It's something that is unconventional for sure, and that he concedes. But whether or not it's going to set out any palpable shift in hiring when it comes to corporate India, and is the startup ecosystem trying to foment that kind of shift in the businesses that they run in hiring for various jobs, all of that remains in play. We will keep tracking it, and we'll keep checking in with you. Thanks very much for joining us, Mr. Cherian and Mr. Keval Ramani, on this discussion on India Tonight.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.